Yo, I got another banger. Yo, I got my man Taylor Stratham on the line with me, coming straight from the West Coast. Some of you know him as a pro basketball player over in the Philippines. I know him as one of my 3X Pro Series brothers. I'm not in the Pro Series, but someday I will be there. But he is there already. He is representing the Philippines national team currently right now in 3X. He's ranked number 3 in the Philippines. Look, man, I'm just gonna bring him to y'all, man. Taylor, what's up, baby?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for
Man,
having
you know. Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Look, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into it because I'm trying not to hold up too much of the time, but let me ask you something. What got you started playing ball?
me. Playing ball, that would for sure be my pops. From the time, he was babysitting me and could carry me around in my crib and stuff like that. He'd take me to parks, and he'd be the one white guy out there with, you know, everybody else, but he'd be talking the most smack. He'd be killing everybody. He'd be shooting 40 footers before, and this was back in the 90s before Steph Curry and all them. And he was draining it. And, it was just so much fun to watch, just seeing his competitive nature. And then, once I got a little bit older, he started coaching me and then just kind of ran with it from there.
Let me ask you this. So are you from the California area?
Yeah. So born and raised in North Hollywood, California. Once I hit high school, I moved up to Valencia. So now I'm up in Valencia, Santa Clarita Valley. So that's where I do, that's where I hold my business. That's where I come home to after every season.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Could you elaborate more on your business?
Yeah. So I own and operate Statham Academy. A couple years back, I teamed up with one of my boys, Jahar, who, my first year overseas, he kind of helped me in the Philippines, and then I helped him get to Thailand, a couple other places, Malaysia. We teamed up. We did ball out together. But once I went to Thailand, he went to Malaysia. He came back home, went to the Army. So now it's just Statham Academy. I also have a travel ball team I co-founded called Creators. So you might see some pictures in here of some of my little guys. But mostly for Statham Academy, it's just a training business. And, we throw a lot of events. We have this 3x3 event coming up, throwing showcases, camps of all kinds and different kinds of countries. Just doing anything I can to elevate basketball, skill development, and just help kids get to college, open up avenues for pro players, just things of that nature.
Let me ask you this. When you since you're doing so much for your community and you're trying to help others, how was the journey and the path for you to get to become a professional basketball player? Like, was it difficult? Was it hard? I mean, was it easy?
Man, how much time you got?
I don't mean I got time, but and one thing real quick. So I meant to say this when you talk about your father. So basically, you telling me your father is Billy Hoyle from White Man Can't Jump. He just out there just
Yeah,
draining threes, and
he's a little tougher version of Billy Hoyle for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm over their house right now, and him and my brother are literally downstairs. I hear him rumbling around, leaving for jujitsu. So it's my brother's birthday, and they're still getting their jujitsu in tonight.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now let's go ahead and tag back on to the how much time we have. So let's go ahead and use that time about you and and the struggle.
To keep it short, I mean, I had a very difficult road. I don't think very many people thought I would make it this far, or even to levels, such as college or, high level of high school. Growing up, I wasn't like super fast or athletic or tall or anything. Going into high school, I was 5'8". I was a little skinny dude and super unathletic. I think my vertical inch was like 14. It was measured at my freshman year. So, I got passed up on a lot, had to fight through adversity. I transferred from my sophomore year to Golden Valley High School. So then my junior year, I was deemed ineligible by the CIF, which was really tough for me because that was our first year ever winning a Foothill League championship. Then my senior year, I kind of came out of nowhere. Had a great year, but by the time I was getting recruited, it was late in the recruiting process. So a lot of schools told me to go to prep school. Prep school, worked my way all the way up. I came in, I tell kids this all the time. I was the first week, I think I scored 1 basket in all of the open gyms. So it was really tough. We had guys who were 5-star players, 4-star players. And then, just months of hard work, getting in the gym 2, 3, 4 times a day. I was away from home for the first time. So basketball is all I had. There's no plan B. I worked my way up to starting. I was on the first team. I was team captain. And then shortly before Thanksgiving, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I went, I don't talk about it as much anymore just because there's so much light on it before. But I went through cancer and then went through chemotherapy for about 3 or 4 months. So by the time I got back, I lost 30 pounds, lost all my hair, lost every scholarship I had. At the time, I probably had like 22 to 26 scholarships. And then, so I had to start back, from the ground floor and work my way back up. They told me, I'd never play basketball again. And I know that sounds like, super cliche for a story like this, but, all the chemotherapy did a lot of damage because, it's just chemicals going through your body. And they told me my lungs wouldn't be able to take it. So my first few years of college, I was blessed enough to work out for some teams. And right before season, I got a scholarship to Cal Baptist University. And then, but, my freshman year, I wasn't ready for the college grind yet. So, it was a struggle. I was getting bronchitis like every month. My immune system was like completely beaten down from all the chemo. So, it took a couple years to finally build it back up, get healthy, get strong again. My sophomore year, I transferred to Cal State San Bernardino. So I went from a private school to a public school. So everything was completely different. Private school, obviously, there's so many more rules. Public school is like more freelance. Private school, you're on a full scholarship. Public school, you're on a partial. And then, I played, dude, we were top 10 in the nation for 3 straight years. So I played on some really great teams. My junior year, I was coming off the bench. So, coming off your bench your junior year, you don't really think like, okay, this guy's going to go pro. My senior year comes, I had a good senior year, but I still wasn't the best on the team. I just worked the hardest and tried to do all the right things, lead my team. And then opportunity came to play in the Philippines. And then, one thing led to another. And now I'm here year 5, 12 countries later, just blessed to be alive, blessed to be playing the game I love. And, more than anything, blessed to be somebody for these kids that, I didn't have growing up.
Bro, first of all, that's a blessing that you are here. Obviously, I spoke to you once before. We spoke for a good minute or whatnot. And like you said, you don't talk about that often, but it's good that I'm really appreciative of the fact that you brought that up, to me and to our viewers that are checking this out. And, that gives a lot of hope for a lot of people, because sometimes you speak and you don't know that someone's listening, which, obviously you have the Skills Academy, and it's, the youth, and it's not just the youth, you have guys that you mentor. Sometimes you mentor and don't realize that you're an influence on them and they're older than you. And, you never know what somebody's going through in life, but you don't dwell on it. So I'm not going to dwell on it neither, but I really appreciate that. The next thing I want to bring up is, let's talk a little bit about, the AAU team that you have with the Creators. Talk about the Creator a little bit.
Yeah. So the Creators, one of my best friends, Travis DeVita, he played at the Masters College and NAI school out here in Santa Clarita. He grew up in Santa Clarita. He's a little bit older than me, but, we started working out when we were in college together. When we were in college, I used to get all the local guys together and, get them going to these pro-ams and playing together. Because where I'm from is not really a basketball city. It's more football, baseball. We have NFL quarterbacks, pitchers come out all the time. So, I always try to keep the top guys together. But anyways, he came to me a couple years ago after my first year overseas, and he had a little travel ball program. He was trying to expand. So, we created the Creators. And, now we have like 80 kids. It's one of the biggest AAU programs within our city. And I mean, just the skill development and how much these kids grow into young men and women. I mean, it's just incredible. I've been home like 5 weeks now, and just seeing how much some of our kids have grown, like even the year that I was gone. Because I mean, Travis does such a great job. And then we have another coach, Coach Alec Berryman, and they're just great with the kids. And I mean, I can't say enough great things about them. They've done an amazing job, since I've been gone. And now that I'm home, I'm just happy to be, able to walk right back in, and the kids kind of get to see like, oh, he's here, he's telling us to do this. And we've seen him all year do it at the pro level. That a lot of them have, watched my games live. They've seen my Instagram posts and stuff like that. So, it's really cool to just be able to, for half the year, show them, hey, this is why we're teaching you this stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is what you could potentially become, and even more,
That's
just
right.
showing opportunities out there.
That's right. Practice what you preach. You're showing them that what you're telling them actually works. You're living proof. Now look, let's step into the. How did you getting into the 3X? So you're now a FIBA 3X pro star. Technically, you may not consider yourself a superstar, but in the world of 3X, you are a superstar. So how did that come about? And could you tell us or elaborate more about, 3X basketball and where it's possibly going?
Man, I'll tell you this. I was in Indonesia in 2016 or 2017 playing a tournament, and I met this guy by the name of Disco Jones. And
Okay.
Disco Jones is, for those who don't know, he's the guard for Harlem, who's just been tearing it up all year. I mean, he's by far like the most spectacular player in this 3x3. And we were playing 5-on-5 at the time in Indonesia, and I was averaging like a triple double. And this little dude, he couldn't be taller than like 5'10", is in my ear the whole time telling me, man, I play 3-on-3, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, 3-on-3? What is it? That doesn't even sound real. That sounds like, you go to the park with your friends, or you go to LA Fitness with some old guys. And, if you would have told me a couple years ago I'd be playing it now, I would have thought you were crazy. But 3-on-3 is just blowing up. Obviously, like my first couple years, I played in a bunch of countries around Asia. I'm part Filipino. And for the longest, the Philippines was trying to get me to go to the PBA, and all those leagues. But, I was playing as an American import in other countries, and, just taking a different route. And, I finally came to the Philippines in last year, 2018, with playing in a couple smaller leagues, in between seasons. And then the guys for, the national team reached out to me. And, I said, oh, okay, yeah, I would love to represent the Philippines. This seems like a different path. This might be my timing, to kind of just fill into the PBA, or, it just felt right, So long story short, I signed. I play in the local league. They started a big local league, to gain points to qualify for the Olympics. And then, yeah, man, I still can't believe I played 3-on-3 sometimes. It's kind of funny to sit here, and look at the highlights, but it was such a fun experience. We got to go to all these countries, places I never thought I would go: Qatar, Russia, France, play all these great players and play. I mean, you see the crowd. We would be in the malls, and there'd just be like 5-6 levels, and just people like, packing out the place. No standing room, people going crazy. And, especially in the local league, like all our games were on ESPN. So my family back home got to see it. Everybody in the country was watching. So, it really became like a huge thing. And 3x3 now, I mean, FIBA is just blowing it up. It's in every country. Next year's the first time it's going to be in the Olympics. So, I mean, if you haven't played 3-on-3 yet, I mean, now is the time to start jumping on it before everybody's on it after the Olympics.
Man, you ain't lied. You ain't lied, man. Like, there's so many guys that I've told that you have a lot of people and you know a lot of people that are chasing basketball. You know, it's technically, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's technically over them as far as playing 5-on-5, because there's no way you're going to be, you know, 30, 35, call yourself like I'm trying to get a check and go overseas, and you never went. You know, that's not your career. Like that's not what you
Well,
do.
and there's so many opportunities because, like, let's say you're in America, right? If you didn't play at college or you weren't this high level Division I player, you could just show up to a Red Bull tournament and it might be your day and you go crazy and boom, all of a sudden you're on the scene. You know, you can't just show up overseas with no resume. And then secondly, I mean, you look at the money involved. We were at challengers, we were playing in challengers twice a month. And if you win, I mean, 20,000, 30,000, you're splitting that between four teammates. So if you get a good team, there's a lot of money to be made.
So Taylor, so do this. What's the breakdown on the events? So you just said a challenger. So what exactly is a challenger, and is there something else that you have to do before you go into a challenger?
Yeah, so like what a lot of these countries do is they'll have local leagues just to gain points for their players and help qualify them for the Olympics. Um, and then they'll take the top players and then put them in challengers. Or like if you're in the United States, we don't really have a federation yet, so you kind of just got to do it on your own or get your own sponsors. But
Right.
there's these challengers, and what you do is you play in these challengers, and then if you place, you get first or second place, boom, you move on to the world tour. And now you're playing the top teams in the world. And now instead of 15, 20, 25,000 for the first place, you're getting 50K, 100K. I mean, just, crazy amounts of money. And then, obviously for challengers, you get a little more points. And then when you go to world tour, you get way more points. So that helps you, because if you want to play in the Olympics for your country, you have to, be in the top 100 or, the top 50 to even be considered.
Which is hard to do when you live here in the U.S. and you're trying to rank up. Like, I didn't know anything about 3X. I would happen to wake up one morning and look at Twitter and see. Not that I didn't know about it. I had no intentions of wanting to play it. I've seen it on television, seeing the under 23, U.S. Players in other countries, the younger individuals playing. And I woke up and I saw it and I was like, man, let me go ahead and see what this is about. So I went and I checked it out. I put a team together, and the next thing I knew, we won our qualifying,
Mm-hmm.
and it was part of the Red Bull. Like you said, the sponsor is Red Bull, and we won our qualifying. And we went to regionals, and then nationals is being held, I guess, 2 months before the Olympics, before the Olympic Games really start kicking off or whatnot. And like you said, we don't have a federation, so there's so many rules and regulations, but the game is so fast.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed watching the video, a lot of people may think that your buckets are easy because you got size on them, but they don't realize that you're the same height as me. So they don't know that you're, 6'6" and and a powerhouse. I mean, like, you're gonna move guys out the way. You got to get the bucket. So, I'm not gonna sit here and ask you about technique, because you got to keep some of your own secrets now. Because hey, technically, I'm with you, but I'm against you too. So
Nah, basketball is simple though, man. You at the end of the day, it's instinct, and you got to stop. You got to stop it. There's nothing. There's no secrets. Everything is out there. The wheel's never going to be reinvented. But yeah, I think that's the big difference between 3x3 is, and that's why I'm trying to bring it here more to the States and to Santa Clarita, because for kids, it just helps you develop. I mean, I had pros on my team who'd played overseas for a couple of years, and you just saw how much their game and offensively developed, because the shot clock is 12 seconds. So
yep.
you don't have time to be dancing and wasting all these dribbles. Like, every movement's got to be efficient. And if you're trying to ISO every play, you're going to get tired real quick and burnt out. So you got to learn to move within an offense, set screens, slip, all these little things. But, it's funny how you said about how you just happened to enter Red Bull and that's how you got started in 3x3, because when I came home early from the Philippines. So I came home because, I had workouts with the Warriors G League and the Lakers G League, and I felt like I had done my part already in the Philippines and helped them. Unfortunately, I wasn't told that I had to get my dual passport, by last January, before I signed, in order to play in the Olympics. So, once they were qualified, I was kind of just, playing without really a goal. So once the Warriors and Lakers hit me up, I left early. And when I left, I was the number one player in Asia. And then, luckily I had such high points that even now, 2 months, all those teams in the Philippines have played, I want to say 8 or 9 tournaments now. And finally, like 2 have passed me. And I mean, I'm blessed enough to be like third. And the guy at the top right now is my teammate, Josh. So, we're up there representing. So, but it was funny because once I came home, I was like, oh man, I'm done with the 3-on-3. That was fun while it lasted. And then my boy Travis, he was like, hey, just join this Red Bull one with me. We can make some money. So, we got 2 of our buddies. We joined it, and we didn't know it was like a qualifier. So we qualified the first day. We made semifinals, went to the West region the second day. Then we made semifinals again. We upset, a bunch of ranked teams, 3-ball, all these teams. And then now we're qualified for nationals. So now, we're in the USA national pool. So, a lot of that stuff, just happens, it kind of just falls in your lap.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, like like you said, if you didn't happen to come home early, then and if your buddy didn't turn around and say, "Hey, run with me," you wouldn't even known anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to do was I wanted to show people what you look like on paper. They saw some footage of you already, so they know what you kind of look like or whatever on the court. But on paper, when you see as an up and coming player in 3X myself, when I look at guys like yourself and I look you guys up, it's it's uh it's funny because it's funny because all you have to gauge is what you see online.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to see you don't get to see like the actual game footage if nobody has it. So this is your profile currently right now. See, so in the world,
That's pretty decent for a guy who hasn't played in a FIBA tournament for 2 months.
yeah, that's really good. And
that's going.
That's dope. That's dope. So what I like about this is you can see the activity and you can see all the hard work you had to put in. This wasn't just, you got picked up and then you're automatically in. Like, I'm not gonna go into details about this, but over here in the category, to the viewers that are watching, in this section right here, this is the difficulty level of the tournament that he's in. So, like for instance, this right here is like, I guess this is like, okay, this is right before Challenger, but this one is a Challenger.
Yeah, that's why you see it worth more points. Like if you go down to when we played in Doha for a world tour, I mean, we got 5th place, but by far that was the most points I think I got all season just from that one world tour.
Okay, there we go. See, and then you can do a breakdown. You can even see who was there when y'all played.
Yeah. I mean, it breaks down everything.
Right. That's really detailed.
Yeah, FIBA's on top of it, man.
Yeah, this is really big. So for you people that are looking at this, just know that this is going to come to the United States. This is going to happen, and it's dope.
I think the biggest adjustment though for players, especially guys who've played overseas, who get who may get a lot of calls or they play in the Drew, so they get fouls. Like once you're in these other countries, you're not getting any calls, especially 3-on-3. 3-on-3, they want it to be more physical. Luckily the last couple of years they've tightened up the calling a little bit because they don't want people just throwing each other down and all this stuff, but they'll let you. I remember when I first came home, I went to a Hoop It Up tournament, and they had the World Tour here in Los Angeles. And my teammates, they're high level players overseas, and they were sitting there watching the games, and they're like, "Oh my God, how are they just letting these guys grab each other and fight like this?" And I was like, "Dude, this is nothing. Like, you're just lucky. Like nobody's gotten hurt or really like elbowed in the face yet, because they let a lot of stuff go. It's super physical. So if you're not like mentally prepared for that, it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long game, but it's gonna be a quick showing because you're gonna get eliminated real quick."
So it's a 12-second shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10-minute clock. What people don't understand, they're probably watching, they're like, well, why is it such a big deal? So the big deal about 3x, if you was watching the video, the ball doesn't stop. The only time it stops is on a foul, which Taylor just said, you very rarely get them called. So you have to be halfway, screaming bloody murder, either on a foul or a lost possession out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Or if somebody calls a timeout. And I'm not sure on your level, but is it only one timeout? Is it one timeout for y'all also? Like, or do you get like two?
Dang.
I only play Red Bull, so I don't know.
No, you get one or two. I don't remember. I should remember, but it's I've been home. I've been home for a minute, so.
All right, we ain't gonna put that pressure.
All the timeouts. I was the guy who just kept going and going.
That's good, and you have to be in shape. You have to be in shape to be able to play this. Yeah. So when you guys are looking at this, and y'all can see it, he's ranked points 437,740. That's in total of all the events that he's played in. Is his points, his point value, his world rank, the world, Earth, planet Earth, the world, 121. He's 121st out of who knows. Of his nationality being an American in the United States, he's number 13. Number 13. That's I'm gonna let y'all see this, see him, and then we're gonna compare it to me. He's 13. In the Philippines, he's third. I need to go to another country. I just need to go to another country and rack up somewhere where no one's playing ball at, so I could be number one.
You got to go to like Spain or something, because I heard Spain, they barely have tournaments. So they said next summer they're gonna have like Marc Gasol and Ricky Rubio play, because there's not that many tournaments. So when season's over, they're gonna play like 2 or 3, and then they'll be eligible.
See,
great, which is crazy.
See, that's wild. That's crazy. And man, all right. So check it out. Look, let's do this. Do this real quick. Big difference. Big difference. Now, in my defense, I've only got to play in 2, and I don't know why it's ranked so low, because I have a teammate and his is higher right here. So I'm not sure if it's the category should be the same for everybody that played in that tournament. So I guess I just need to check in on that. But regardless of that, ranking wise, we won. We came in first place here, came in 7th place in the regionals. But in my ranking, I only have 16,000 points. I'm 21,000. We're gonna leave it at 21,000 in the world. And then as an American, I'm 352nd, which isn't bad. That's not bad. But there's no telling how many players there are. And then in the United States, I'm 326. So I got some work I need to do.
I mean, for playing 2 tournaments, guys, especially overseas, I think that's why it's such a big gap from the States to the world, is because so many of these guys overseas in different countries, they've been doing this 10 years. I mean, I was playing, we upset the number 1 team in the world, Le Mans, and they were telling me they were playing together since they were like 16, and they were over 30 now. So this has been around for a while. The United States is just,
late.
Yeah, we're just late to catch on because we're dominating 5-on-5 so much.
3-on-3 is a totally different beast. You have to be accountable for your man. There's no help.
Mm-hmm.
It's switch. Switch. It's not help. Just switch. And then sometimes if the other team is smart, you switch off to the wrong man, and you get somebody like you on this little guy. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And that's the thing,
He's
is
gonna get scored.
you got to find the mismatch and just kill him and just keep going to that. There can't be, because I noticed when we had a lot of Americans come to the Philippines as imports for the 3x3, and they were like high level NBA, G League, Euro League type guys. They would struggle just because it's so fast paced. They're not used to that.
Mhm.
And then, all the slips, all the switches, you got to be, it takes months to get used to that. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter how good you are as a basketball player. It's going to take some time to get adjusted.
Facts. Facts. Well, look, man. Let's go ahead and do a breakdown, man. I want you to go ahead and shout out whoever you want to shout out, man. We about to jump off this line, and but that don't mean you jump off. So when we close out, you stay with me.
Okay.
I gotta make sure I let people know that, because sometimes they like the bell, and I be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyway, so I want you to go ahead, shout out whoever you want to shout out, man. You got like 2 minutes to do your thing, talk about whatever you want to talk about again. Make sure I'll make sure I plug that your WitchCon back up again too, the tournament.
Yeah,
in
please.
November. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate you having me. Obviously, all the way from North Carolina to Los Angeles. I mean, that's big. So again, thank you for your time. And then I just want to shout out my brother. It's his birthday. So happy birthday, Hunter. Shout out to my family, because, without them, I would be nothing. They're my everything. They've got me through the worst times of my life and, held it down and so much more. Shout out to my girlfriend, Kareen. She just actually moved out here to LA with me. She's from the Bay. And she's like super, super prideful of the Bay. So I know it was a hard pill to swallow to come to LA. But yeah, and then, just shout out to all my players right now playing D1, guys we've helped overseas, our creator kids. For me, it's like a family. So if you're part of our group, your family, we always got you on or off the court. And then, shoot, man, to everybody who's in SoCal, who wants to play competitively, who wants to have fun, I'm putting on this 3x3 tournament November 9th and 10th for Veterans Day weekend. I'm trying to do something really cool for veterans. It's going to be announced in a couple of days. So make sure you follow me at Statham Academy on Instagram and on Facebook. My personal account is The Real T-Stat on Instagram. And then, yeah, man, I mean, we got Chick-fil-A giving all this free stuff to kids. To Me Water, they're always great. Turmeric water. And then, we just have so many sponsors. We're talking to Rift LA right now. So we got a bunch of stuff up our sleeve. And then once I'm done with that, I'll be doing some, give back projects with the Boys and Girls Club, trying to get a bunch of pros in the gym, throw an all-star game. I threw it back in 2016, sold out the gym, all the proceeds, at the time went to cancer research, this time around trying to find something different. But kids are all free. So, because I grew up, when I came to Santa Clarita, I didn't see anybody from college. I didn't see anybody overseas. So I just want to make that a thing where, when kids are in the gym, they see, wow, this is what a pro looks like. Man, now I could talk to them. Now I could work out with them. Now I could connect with them. Now I see what I can become. So, it's that much closer. Yeah. And then I just got hit up. So October 23rd, I'll be leaving for a tournament, 3x3 tournament in China. So I guess this 3x3 stuff is not done. Once you're in it, man, I guess you're not done. You got to get jumped out or something.
I don't think you can.
I don't think. But they said
for life.
First place is 20,000, and no FIBA teams will be there. So yeah, man. So
that's free money.
Yeah, and it's a 2-day tournament, so I'll only be gone like 4 or 5 days. Be back in time like 2 weeks before my tournament to keep promoting, keep trying to get more sponsors and more people involved. So, great things on the horizon. Just got to keep working, keep pushing. Yeah, man.
Man, that's dope. Look, I'm gonna have all of Taylor's information inside the description. So make sure y'all check it out. Make sure you check out the academy. Make sure you check out his IG. You know, he's tangible, just like myself. You know, he speaks. You know, you send him a message. It's one thing to follow somebody. It's another thing to follow somebody that you actually want to communicate with. You know, reach out. You know, we like that type of stuff. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here talking to each other with everybody. We could be doing this ourselves without having this wide open. But yo, it's another one. It's your man, Zobeone Knobe. Don't act like you don't know me. You know me, Zobe, yo. Hey man, we out of here.